Here's a little bit of history for you. In 1994, during 100 days of slaughter, the Rwandan government killed 800,000 of its own people. It's known as the Rwandan genocide. Oh, that's ancient history, you might say. Yes, maybe it is. Here's another piece of history for you. In June 1940, just before the fall of France, the Nazi government hatched a plan to relocate, or deport, European Jews to Madagascar. The idea was that they would have no immunity to tropical diseases and many would just die. Those that didn't would be out of the way, would find it very difficult to survive in a country they knew nothing about and in a landscape that they had no tradition of dealing with. In 2022, the British government has chosen to do a deal with Rwanda to send asylum seekers there. Now this is in breach of our obligations under the United Nations Refugee Convention of 1951, but that's not all. You see, in 2021, the UK government, speaking before the United Nations, condemned Rwanda and its still current government of crimes against humanity, of human rights abuses, of political disappearances, extrajudicial killings, that just basically means the government killing people it doesn't like, imprisonment without trial, and a host of other human rights abuses. In 2021, a number of refugees in Rwanda were complaining that the rations that they were given were less than they needed to survive. They couldn't feed their children. The Rwandan response was to send in the police and shoot 14 of them.
Let's talk about that opportunity you say you're offering of a safe and dignified life, because a lot of charities have called this move to take asylum seekers to Rwanda wrong. They're pointing at your country's human rights record, saying Rwanda does not have a good human rights record. Human Rights Watch says several high-profile critics have been arrested or threatened. In 2015, relatively recently, a UK judge refused to extradite 5 men to Rwanda because she argued it's an authoritarian repressive state, stifling opposition, and is suspected of threatening and killing opponents. People have been tortured in secret camps. Can you address those concerns?
Human Rights Watch might say whatever they say, but that's up to them. It doesn't mean that it's the truth.
And our government, knowing all of this, has chosen to send asylum seekers to Rwanda. Now what's really interesting is they're saying they're going to Rwanda for their claims to be processed. However, the Rwandan government doesn't appear to anticipate sending anyone back to the UK.
From your understanding, those that have flown from the UK to Rwanda, are they on a one-way ticket? Because we heard the Prime Minister say that they will be processed in your country and that they should be encouraged to build a life there. Is that your understanding? If they are proven to be genuine asylum seekers, they will not be allowed to return to the UK?
Yeah. So this migration and economic development partnership that we just agreed and signed with the UK today is a new innovative model where we will offer a safety and protection to migrants who will be able to make an asylum claim here and offered protection even if their asylum claims do not go through. They will be allowed to stay here and make a life here, and they will be offered legal pathways to residency and opportunities to develop themselves alongside Rwandans.
But people have a legal right to seek asylum in whatever country they want. And if they've landed on the shores of the UK, international law says they have the right to seek asylum in the UK. If they are flown to Rwanda, processed and found to be genuine asylum seekers, will they be allowed to return to the UK?
Rwanda is a signatory to the Refugee Convention, and we have an asylum process of our own. People are entitled to safety and they're entitled to seek asylum, but they do not have an unfettered choice of the country that they go to. So we are offering safety and protection here, and an opportunity to build a decent and dignified life.
But international law says that people have the right to seek asylum in whatever country they want. That's where the confusion is, because we're talking about people who are coming to the UK to seek asylum. Then they're being taken to Rwanda to be processed. What I'm trying to understand is, what's the legal basis for what's happening here?
There is a legal basis for this partnership. There are no international, we're not breaking any or violating any conventions. People do have a right to seek safety and asylum. What international law does not say that they have a choice of country to go to.
The British Prime Minister has said that he's expecting court challenges. So this is legally complicated. It's not as cut and dry as you land in the UK and you head to Rwanda and that's where you have to seek asylum. It's not that cut and dry.
It may be not.
The justification for this, of course, is to destabilise the business model of people traffickers. Well, there's 2 points to say about this. First of all, when Australia tried the same thing, which was illegal, by the way, and a class action against the Australian government cost them 70 million Australian dollars. They were also incidentally reported to the International Criminal Court, and a verdict is yet to be received on that for their breaches of international law, of the United Nations Refugee Convention, and of basic human rights. It also cost the Australian taxpayer 1 billion Australian dollars per year on average, and that was for a total of 3,100 asylum seekers who were accommodated offshore. In addition to that, the United Nations found that as a result of this policy of relocation offshore, 83% of the asylum seekers to Australia were found to have a severe, not just significant, but severe mental disorder. And we are intending to do not quite the same thing, but worse. We aren't just sending them to an island within our jurisdiction, we're sending them to a known abusive state. Make of that what you will.